Science and technology. W. Boson. Researchers from Collider detector at Fermi Lab CDF collaboration in the US announced that they have made a precise measurement of the mass of the W boson about discovered in 1983 at CERN located on the Franco-Swiss border. The W boson is a fundamental particle. Together with the Z boson, it is responsible for the weak force, one of four fundamental forces that govern the behavior of matter in the universe. The W boson, which is electrically charged, changes the very makeup of particles. It switches proton into neutrons and vice versa through the weak force, triggering nuclear fission and letting stars burn. Neutrino. Tamil Nadu has said to the Supreme Court that it does not want the Indian Neutrino Observatory INO to be set up in a sensitive ecological zone in the Western Ghats. Tamil Nadu has said to the Supreme Court that it does not want the Indian Neutrino Observatory INO to be set up in a sensitive ecological zone in the Western Ghats at a great cost to wildlife and biodiversity. About a neutrino is a subatomic particle with no electric charge. They are considered to be the second most abundant particle in the universe after photons or light particles. History. Predicted in 1931, neutrinos were detected for the first time in 1959 by the Clyde Cowan and Fred Raines. They come in three types and each type is associated with a light elementary particle. They are electron neutrino is associated with the electron, muon neutrino with the muon, and tau neutrino with the tau particle. They are not easy to catch as they do not carry a charge, as a result of which they do not interact with matter. They also might have unique properties that would help explain why the universe is made of matter instead of antimatter. Subatomic particles that make up antimatter have properties that are opposite to the subatomic particles of normal matter. Protons and neutrons and electrons, subatomic particles of normal matter, are among 12 quarks and leptons have been discovered so far. The observatory is jointly supported by the Department of Atomic Energy and Department of Science and Technology, with DAE acting as the nodal agency. The proposed site of the observatory is in Bodhi West Hills in Theni district. The site is spread across Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Anti-radiation pills. Recently, with fears of nuclear disaster at Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia power plant growing, the European Union has decided to preemptively supply 5.5 million anti-radiation pills to be distributed among residents in the vicinity. About radiation emergency. These are unplanned or accidental events that create radionuclear hazard to humans and the environment. Such situations involve radiation exposure from a radioactive source and require prompt intervention to mitigate the threat. Dealing with such an emergency also involves the use of anti-radiation tablets. Anti-radiation pills. Potassium iodide Ki tablets or anti-radiation pills are known to provide some protection in cases of radiation exposure. They contain non-radioactive iodine and can help block absorption and subsequent concentration of radioactive iodine in the thyroid gland. Working of pills. Potassium iodide is a type of iodide that is not radioactive, can be used to help block one type of radioactive material, radioactive iodine, from being absorbed by the thyroid. After a radiation leak, radioactive iodine floats through the air and then contaminates food, water and soil. After a radiation leak, radioactive iodine floats through the air and then contaminates food, water and soil. While radioactive iodine deposited during external exposure can be removed using warm water and soap, the bigger risk is inhaling it. The thyroid gland, which uses iodine to produce hormones to regulate the body's metabolism, has no way of differentiating radioactive from non-radioactive iodine. Potassium iodide Ki tablets rely on this to achieve thyroid blocking. Ki pills take a few hours before or soon after radiation exposure to ensure that non-radioactive iodine in the medicine is absorbed quickly to make the thyroid full. When the thyroid absorbs high levels of radioactive iodine, it can increase the risk of thyroid cancer in infants, children and young adults many years after exposure. Ki pills. Potassium iodide pills are preventive only and cannot reverse any damage done by radiation. Preventive only and cannot reverse any damage done by radiation to the thyroid gland. Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant. It is located in the southeastern Ukraine and is the largest nuclear power plant in Europe and among the 10 largest in the world. It was built by the Soviet Union near the city of Enerhodar on the southern shore of Kakhovka Reservoir and the Dnieper River. Color blindness. Recently, the Supreme Court has directed the Film and Television Institute of India not to exclude candidates suffering from color blindness from its course on filmmaking and editing, and asked it to make changes to its curriculum instead. About color blindness. Color blindness is the inability to see colors in the normal way. Color blind individuals often cannot distinguish between certain colors, usually greens and reds, and sometimes blues as well. It is also known as color deficiency. Anatomy. Two types of cells in the retina detect light: rods and cones. Rods, these help in distinguishing between light and dark. Cones, these help in detecting color. CC, cones color. Other one, rods, this help in distinguish between light and dark. There are three types of cones that see colors: red, green and blue, and our brains use the information from these cells to perceive color. Color blindness can see the result of absence of one or more of these cone cells or their failure to work properly. Different kinds. Color blindness may be of different kinds and degrees. In a situation where all the three cone cells are present but one of them is malfunctioning, mild color blindness may occur. In the most severe kind of color blindness, vision is black and white, that is, everything appears as a shade of grey. This is not very common. Causes of color blindness. The type of color blindness generally affects both eyes and the conditions remain roughly the same for as long as the individual is alive. Congenital color blindness. Most color blind people are born with the condition congenital color blindness. Congenital color vision deficiencies are usually passed or genetically. Medical conditions. A problem with color vision that arises later in life could be the result of disease, trauma and or ingested toxins. If color blindness arises out of disease, one eye may be affected differently from the other, and the difficulty could worsen over time. Rice fortification. To maintain desired quality standards for the implementation of rice fortification, the Department of Food and Public Distribution has issued standards operating procedure. to address malnutrition, anemia and micronutrient deficiencies. To address malnutrition, anemia and micronutrient deficiencies. Standard operating anemia means blood issue. Standard operating procedure SOP for rice fortification are issued. Rice fortification is the process of supplementing rice with micronutrients such as iron, folic acid and vitamin B12. Fortified rice must contain mandatory micronutrients iron, folic acid and vitamin B12 are optional nutrients zinc, vitamin A, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin and pyridoxine at levels specified in the Food Safety and Standards Regulations 2018. According to FSSAI standards, 1 kg of fortified rice should contain iron 28 mg to 42.5 mg iron and folic acid 175 to 125 micrograms and vitamin B12 0.75 to 1.25 microgram. Recent development. The government has approved the gradual introduction of fortified rice into government run food schemes by 2024 with the goal of combating nutrition deficiency in all states and UTs. Fortified rice will be distributed through the Targeted Public Distribution System TPDS in accordance with the National Food Security Act NFSA 2013, the Integrated Child Development Services PM Poshan and other welfare programs. The center would bear the entire cost of rice fortification. The center would bear the entire cost of rice fortification. It means it is centrally it is central sector scheme. Shigella bacteria. An outbreak of Shigella bacteria is believed to be the reason behind the recent incident of suspected food poisoning in Kasaragod district, Kerala. Shigella is a genus bacteria that causes genus of bacteria that causes an infection called Shigellosis. It is the second leading cause of diarrhea after rotavirus. Worldwide, the third leading cause of death in children less than 5 years old. Symptoms include diarrhea, fever, stomach cramps which can last for 7 days. Transmission. Shigella is generally transmitted through contaminated food or water or through person to person contact. Shigellosis is primarily a disease of poor and crowded communities that do not have adequate sanitation or safe water. Incubation period. The incubation period of Shigellosis is typically 1 to 4 days. Different species. The severity of the disease varies by the infecting species. Shigella dysentery causes dysentery which may also occur in infection with Shigella flexneri. Shigella boydii and Shigella sonnei often have self-limited water diarrhea. Vaccines. Currently there are no vaccines available for Shigellosis. About diarrhea. According to the WHO, diarrhea is the passage of 3 or more loose or liquid stools per day or more frequently than is normal for the individual. It is usually a symptom of gastrointestinal infection which can be caused by a variety of bacterial, viral and parasitic organisms. Tomato flu. Tamil Nadu has ramped up surveillance in its borders in the wake of tomato flu cases being detected in Kerala. Tomato flu or fever is a viral disease. The flu gets its name because of the red blister it causes. The fever is affecting children below the age of 5. Symptoms. The affected child gets blisters, high fever, body ache, joint swelling and fatigue. Transmission. Like other cases of flu, tomato fever is also contagious. If someone is infected with this flu, they need to be kept in an isolation as the could spread rapidly from one person to another. Treatment. This flu is a self-limiting one and there is no specific drug for this. This means that the symptoms will resolve over time on their own if supportive care is given. Lumpy skin disease. Around 1229 cattle across 5 districts of Gujarat have been infected with lumpy skin disease LSD. Gujarat. Okay. Lumpy skin disease was first seen as an epidemic in Zambia in 1929. The mortality rate is less than 10%. Caused by infection of cattle or water buffalo with the pox virus lumpy skin disease. Okay. Transmission. Lumpy skin disease is primarily spread between animals by biting insects, vectors such as mosquitoes and biting flies. Symptoms. It primarily consists of fever, fluid excretion from eyes and nose, dribbling of saliva from the mouth and blisters on the body. Prevention and treatment. Vaccination against these diseases is covered under the Livestock Health and Disease Control Program of India. There are no specific antiviral drug available for the treatment of lumpy skin disease. Anti-inflammatory painkillers can be used to keep the appetite of affected animals. Ramsay Hunt syndrome. A famous Canadian pop singer is suffering from Ramsay Hunt syndrome. Ramsay Hunt syndrome, herpes zoster oticus, is a rare neurological disorder which usually leads to paralysis of the facial nerve, and a rash that generally affects the ear or mouth or face. Causes. By reaction of varicella zoster virus that has previously caused chickenpox and shingles in the patient. The virus belongs to the herpesvirus group and can stay in the body as a latent infection. Varicella zoster virus can be reactivated due to weakening of the immune system. The disease is not contagious but can lead to chickenpox in those not vaccinated for the disease. Symptoms. It begins with the reddish patch which may inflame into persistent rash. Treatment. Antiviral therapies and corticosteroids, anti-inflammatory drugs are commonly used to treat the conditions. Alzheimer's disease. Researchers have discovered a drug named lecanemab that reduces cognitive decline in patients with early Alzheimer's, making it one of the first neuroprotective treatment for the disease. Lecanemab. Okay. It is a neurological disorder which causes brain cells to degenerate and die. Alzheimer's disease means this leads to loss of memory. Problems with words in speaking or writing, poor judgment, changes in mood and personality, confusion with time or place, etc. Alzheimer's is the most common cause of dementia among older adults, caused by the abnormal buildup of proteins in and around brain cells. Abnormal buildup of proteins. One of the proteins involved is called amyloid deposits, of which forms plaques around brain cells, and other protein is called TAU. TAU is a protein that when it occurs in tangled formation in the brain of Alzheimer's patients, disrupts the ability of neurons to communicate with another in the brain. Alzheimer's is an incurable disease as the death of brain cells cannot be reversed. Women have a high risk of having Alzheimer's disease than men. Treatment. There is currently no cure for Alzheimer's disease. Oral rehydration solution, ORS. Recently, Dr. Dilip Mahalanobis died. He was a pioneer in the correct emergency use of oral rehydration solution, also known as the ORS, for diarrheal disorders. According to the Lancet, ORS is the most important medical discovery of the 20th century. Oral rehydration salts are water soluble mixture of electrolytes, salts and carbohydrates in the form of sugar. They are used to replenish salts and water lost by the body as a result of dehydration caused by gastroenteritis, diarrhea or vomiting. Potassium and sodium are electrolytes. These components improve gastrointestinal fluid absorption. Sodium glucose co-transporters, which are carrier proteins in intestinal cells, are essential in the gastrointestinal tract. Co-transporters aid in the movement of substance across membrane. SGLTs in particular link sodium and glucose transport in the small intestine. This allows glucose to increase fluid absorption. Furthermore, sodium requires glucose to be properly absorbed. ORS thus contains both glucose and sodium. ORS contains both glucose and sodium and potassium. Indian Space Station. Recently, the Union Minister for Space Jitendra Singh announced in Parliament that India's first space station would be set up by 2030. The Indian Space Station will be much smaller, mass of 20 tons than the International Space Station ISS, and will be used for carrying out microgravity experiments, not for space tourism. Preliminary plan for the space station is to accommodate astronauts for up to 20 days in space, and the project will be an extension of the Gaganyaan mission. It will orbit Earth at an altitude of around 400 kilometers. ISRO is working on a space docking experiment, SPADEX, a technology that is crucial for making the space station functional. Other space stations. The only space station currently in orbit is the International Space Station ISS. The ISS is backed by the United States, Russia, Europe, Japan and Canada. So far, China has sent two previous space stations into orbit. The Tiangong 2 were trial stations 1 and 2. Project Netra. The ISRO is building up its orbital debris tracking capability by deploying new radars and optical telescopes under the Network for Space Objects Tracking and Analysis Netra project. Project Netra is an early warning system in space to detect debris and other hazards to maintain two Indian satellites in low Earth orbits. Initiatives of ISRO. Netra stands for Network for Space Object Tracking and Analysis. Facilitates under this project. Under Netra, ISRO plans to put up many observational facilities such as space debris tracking radar. It will be capable of detecting and tracking objects 10 centimeters and above in size. It will have a range of 1500 kilometers. Optical telescopes. These will be inducted as a part of establishing an effective surveillance and tracking network. Data processing units. Space Situational Awareness Control Program. Space debris. Space debris consists of rocket bodies that are used to launch satellites, defunct satellites, materials released during mission operations, fragments from on-orbit breakups of space objects, and fragments from anti-satellite tests. These space objects move with an average speed of 27,000 km per hour in low Earth orbits. Therefore, a collision with even a centimeter-sized tiny fragment can be catastrophic to an operational space asset. According to ISRO, the volume of space debris is likely to go up in the coming years with an increase in space missions globally. Globally, 2021 saw the highest space object to launch ratio. In other words, more space objects are placed in orbit per launch. James Webb Telescope. NASA has unveiled images from the James Webb Telescope, the largest and powerful orbital observatory ever launched. NASA released a deep field photo of distant galaxy cluster SMACS 0723, revealing the most detailed glimpse of the early universe recorded to date. The collection also included fresh images of another galaxy cluster known as Stephen's Quintet, first discovered in 1877. James Webb Telescope is a joint NASA ESA CSA space telescope that is planned to succeed the Hubble Space Telescope as NASA's flagship astrophysics mission. It is the most powerful space telescope ever built. It will enable a broad range of investigations across the fields of astronomy and cosmology, including observing some of the most distant events and objects in the universe. It would help understand events such as the information of the first galaxies and detailed atmospheric characterization of potentially habitable exoplanets. Significance: some have called James Webb Telescope the telescope that ate astronomy. It is said that look back in the time to the dark ages of the universe. It is said to look back in time to the dark ages of the universe. Dark ages of the universe. Evidence shows that the universe started with an event called the Big Bang 13.8 billion years ago, which left in it an ultra hot and ultra dense state. The universe immediately began expanding and cooling after the Big Bang. 1 second after the Big Bang, the universe was 100 trillion miles across with a average temperature of an incredible 18 billion Fahrenheit and 10 billion centigrade. Around 4 lakh years after the Big Bang, the universe was 10 million light years across. The temperature had cooled to 5500 Fahrenheit, 3000 centigrade. Through this time, the space was filled with a smooth soap with of high energy particles, radiation, hydrogen, and helium. There was no structure. As per the expanding universe became bigger and colder, the soap thinned out and everything faded to black. This was the start of what astronomers called the dark ages of the universe. Dark ages of the universe. Azadi Sat, the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO, is all set to launch a small satellite launch vehicle SSLV from Sriharikota. The vehicle will carry an Earth observation satellite named EOS-2 and a co-passenger satellite Azadi Sat into low Earth orbit. Azadi satellite has been designed by 750 girl students of government schools in rural areas from Kashmir to Kanyakumari. Purpose: the satellite weighs around 8 kg and has 75 femto experiments, selfie cameras to click pictures of its own solar panels, and long range communication transponders. It also contains a long range transponder and a solid state pin diode based radiation counter to measure the ionizing radiation in its orbit. The satellite will also carry a recorded version of the national anthem sung by Rabindranath Tagore, which will be played in space as a tribute to the country. Significance: the satellite is the result of ISRO pushing for girls to take up science, technology, engineering, and mathematics STEM subjects, STEM subjects. Small Satellite Launch Vehicle SSLV. It is an all solid 3 stages vehicle with the capability to launch up to 500 kg satellite mass into 500 km low Earth orbit, LEO, low Earth orbit. Vyom-Mitra. Recently, the humanoid Vyom-Mitra was designed and developed by the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO. It is the female AI-enabled robo astronaut. It is a half humanoid lacking lower limbs. Characteristics: it has been designed to resemble a human with facial expressions and speech and sight capabilities. Development: IISU was responsible for the design, development, and the integration of the robot, while ISRO Center Vikram Sarabhai Space Center at Tumba developed its fingers. Significance: to fly abroad unmanned test missions ahead of the Gaganyaan human space flight mission. ISRO Inertial Systems Unit IISU has successfully integrated it with a computer's brain, which enables it to read and control planets aboard the unmanned test flights and communications with the ISRO ground stations. Param Pravega. The Indian Institute of Science IISc has installed and commissioned Param Pravega as one of the most powerful supercomputers in India. About: designed by the Center for Development of Advanced Computing CDAC. It is the largest supercomputer in an Indian academic institutions. It was installed and commissioned under the National Supercomputing Mission. The system is expected to power diverse research and educational pursuits. It has a supercomputing capacity of 3.3 petaflops. 3.3 petaflops. 1 petaflop equal to quadrillion or 1015 operations per second. Petaflops. In computing floating point operations per second, flop by s is a measure of computer performance, useful in field of scientific computations that require floating point calculations. For such cases, it is a more accurate measure than measuring instructions per second. About National Supercomputing Mission NSM. The mission was announced in 2015. National Supercomputing Mission setting up a network of 70 high performance computing facilities which an aim to connect national academic and research and development institutions across India over a 7-year period at an estimated cost of 4,500 crores. Parent body: Ministry of Electronics and IT, MeitY, and Department of Science and Technology. Nodal agencies of NSM: Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, and Pune under the Indian Institute of Science, IAS, Bengaluru. Under NSM, the long-term plan is to build a strong base of 20,000 skilled persons over the next 5 years who will be equipped to handle the complexities of supercomputers. Quantum network: this network aims to advance quantum computing based on principles of quantum theory, skills development and research in India. Quantum network, also known as the quantum internet, is an internet network that makes use of the properties of photons to transmit data. It allows quantum devices to exchange information within a particular environment that harnesses the principles of quantum mechanics. Quantum computing: according to a study, IBM India is witnessing a growth interest in quantum computing, with students, developers, and academia activity participating. Consequently, the country is emerging as a talent hub for quantum computing. About quantum computing is a rapidly emerging technology that harnesses the laws of laws of quantum mechanics to solve problems too complex for classical computers. Quantum mechanics is a subfield or physics that describes the behavior of particles, atoms, electrons and photons, and almost everything in the molecular and submolecular realm. It is a fundamentally different way of processing information compared to today's classical computing systems, different from traditional computers. While today's classical computers store information as a binary 0 to 1 and states, quantum computers draw on the fundamental laws of nature to carry out calculating using quantum bits. Unlike a bit that has to be a 0 or a 1, a qubit can be a combination of states, which allows for exponentially larger calculations and gives them the potential to solve complex problems which even the most powerful classical computers are not capable of. Quantum entanglement: scientists have identified the first quantum entanglement animal in history, frozen tardigrade, in a recent study. Quantum entanglement is a physical phenomenon that occurs when a group of particles are generated, interact or share spatial proximity in a way such that the quantum state of each particle of the group cannot be described independently of the state of the others, including when the particles are separated by a large distance. Scientists have placed a tardigrade in a state of quantum entanglement. The researchers managed to put a tardigrade in a state where it was directly connected to the qubits in such a way that anything that happens to the water bear or the qubits would simultaneously affect all three. This study is perhaps the closest realization combining biological matter and quantum matter available with present day technology. Moreover, this work is a new record for the conditions that a complex form of life can survive. About tardigrades: tardigrades are also called water bears or moss piglets. They are near microscopic multicellular organisms. They are discovered in 1773 by the German geologist Johann August Ephraim George, who dubbed them as little water bears. Tardigrades are found everywhere in terrestrial, marine and freshwater environments, from the Arctic to the Antarctic, including great depths and altitudes. They are known to survive extreme conditions such as exposure to extreme temperatures, extreme pressures both high and low, air deprivation, through the latent state of life known as cryptobiosis. Tardigrades have also survived exposure to outer space. Cryptobiosis or anabiosis is a metabolic state of life entered by an organism in response to adverse environmental conditions such as desiccation, freezing and oxygen deficiency. Lithium cell plant: India's first lithium cell manufacturing facility at Tirupati, Andhra Pradesh was inaugurated. About the facility: the state-of-the-art facility has been set up by the Chennai-based Munoz Industries Limited with an outlay of 165 crore rupees. The facility is located in one of the two electronics manufacturing clusters set up in the Temple Town by Prime Minister Narendra Modi in 2015. Currently, India imports complete requirements of lithium ion cells primarily from China, South Korea, Vietnam, and Hong Kong. Cells for other consumer electronics like mobile phones, hearable and wearable devices will also be produced. Blue bugging. Cyber security experts recently noted that apps that let users connect smartphones or laptops to wireless earplugs can record conversations and are vulnerable to hacks. Blue bugging is a form of hacking that lets attackers access a device through its discoverable Bluetooth connection. Once a device or phone is blue bugged, a hacker can listen to the calls, read and send messages and steal and modify contacts. It started out as a threat to laptops with Bluetooth capability. Later, hackers used the technique to target mobile phones and other devices. Blue bugging attacks by exploiting Bluetooth enabled devices. The device's Bluetooth must be in discoverable mode, which is the default setting on most devices. The Bluetooth enabled device must also be within a 10-meter radius of the hacker. The hacker then tries to pair with the device via Bluetooth. Once a connection is established, hackers can use brute force attacks to bypass authentication. They can install the malware in the compromised device to gain unauthorized access to it. MiG-21. A MiG-21 Bison aircraft of the Indian Air Force crashed in Barmer, Rajasthan, killing the two pilots aboard the trainer's version of the fighter aircraft. The Mikoyan Gurevich MiG-21. The Mikoyan Gurevich is a supersonic jet fighter and interceptor aircraft designed by the Mikoyan Gurevich Design Bureau in the Soviet Union. MiG is a product of the Soviet Union, which entered into service in 1959. Approximately 60 countries on 4 continents have flown the MiG-21 and still serves many nations 6 decades after its Maidan flight. India inducted the MiG-21 in 1963 and got full technology transfer and rights to license build the aircraft in the country. Russia stopped producing the aircraft in 1985, while India continued operating the upgraded variants. CERT-IN. Recently, CERT-IN has asked all the government and private agencies to mandatorily report cybersecurity breach incidents to it within 6 hours of noticing them. CERT-IN was established in 2004 as a functional organization of the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. CERT-IN is the national nodal agency for responding to computer security incidents and when they occur. The constituency of CERT-IN is the Indian cyber community. Functions. The Information Technology Amendment Act 2008 designated CERT-IN to serve as the national agency to perform the critical functions in the area of security. CSIR, Council of Scientific and Industrial Research. Council of Scientific and Industrial Research celebrated its 81st Foundation Day. Established in September 1942, CSIR is the largest research and development organization in India. Objectives. The objectives of the council are scientific and industrial or applied research of national importance. CSIR has a pan-India presence and has a dynamic network of 37 national laboratories, 39 outreach centers, 3 innovation complexes and 5 units. Headquarters, New Delhi. CSIR is funded by the Ministry of Science and Technology and it operates as an autonomous body through the Societies Registration Act 1860. CSIR covers a wide spectrum of streams from radio and space physics, oceanography, geophysics, chemicals, drugs, genomics, biotechnology and nanotechnology to mining, aeronautics, instrumentation, environmental engineering and information technology. It provides a significant and technological intervention in many areas with regard to societal efforts which include the environment, health, drinking water, food, housing, energy and farm and non-farm sectors. Organizational structure of CSIR: President, Prime Minister of India, ex officio; Vice President, Union Minister of Science and Technology, ex officio. Governing body: the Director General is the head of the governing body. CSIR Advisory Board: 15-member body composed of prominent members from respective fields of science and technology. Its function is to provide science and technology input to the governing body. Women in Engineering, Science and Technology West Initiative. On Teachers' Day, the Government of India has launched the Women in Engineering, Science and Technology West Initiative. It is a new one STEM Indian in Space of Technology and Engineering Facilities Map initiative launched by Office of Principal Scientific Advisor PSA to the Government of India, aimed to cater to women with a STEM background and empower them to contribute to the science and technology and innovative ecosystem. Key features of the initiative: pursue research, skill development, a digital consortium connect quickly, support to women S&T startups. Kavach: the Ministry of Railways inspected the trial of the Kavach working system between the railway stations of Gullagud and Chitgudda. Kavach is the indigenously developed train collision avoidance system. Kavach is the indigenously developed train collision avoidance system. It is a collection of electronic and radio frequency identification devices installed in locomotives, the signaling system and the tracks. These use ultra high radio frequencies to communicate with one another in order to control train breakers and alert drivers. It takes over, applies sudden brakes in the event of a human error in jumping a red light. It is also prevents rear end collisions when they are on the same line. When a level crossing is approaching, the horn automatically sounds, assisting loco pilots during foggy conditions when visibility is reduced. During curves or on bridges, speeds are automatically reduced to allowable limits. It has been in development since 2012 with the Research Design and Standards Organization (RDSO) collaborating with Indian industry and trials facilitated by South Central Railway. Research Design and Standards Organization (RDSO), Central Standards Office and the Railway Testing and Research Center were integrated into a single unit named Research Designs and Standards Organization (RDSO) in 1957 under Ministry of Railways at Lucknow. The status of RDSO has been changed from a attached office to Zonal Railway since January 1st, 2003. Atal New India Challenge. Atal Innovation Mission has launched the phase 1 of the second edition Atal New India Challenge ANIC 2.0. Atal New India Challenge is the flagship program of Atal Innovation Mission Niti Aayog, aim to seek, select and support and nurture technology based innovations that solve sectoral challenges of national importance and societal relevance. Goal: to support innovations in areas critical to India's development and growth, in education, health, water and sanitation, housing, energy and mobility and space applications among others. The challenge address the second commercialization value of depth, supporting innovators scale over the risk associated with access to resources for testing, piloting and market creation. Okay. Valley of Death. The valleys of death is an expression used by venture capitalists to describe the critical initial phase of a startup company. During this period, the startup companies operate without any existing revenue, rely on their initial invested capital. Surviving the death valley curve means beginning to generate sufficient revenue to become self-sustainable before the initial invested capital runs dry. Graphene Innovation Center. The Kerala government announced that the country's first graphene innovation center would come up in Thrissur, Kerala. An innovation center is a cross-functional plan that creates a safe haven for new ideas with opportunities for individual and group collaboration across time zones and continents. It is a place that fosters a culture of innovation through the creation, sharing and testing of ideas. The innovation center of the Center for Graphene would come up in Thrissur, Kerala at a cost of 86.41 crore rupees. About graphene. Graphene is a one atom thick layer of carbon atoms arranged in a hexagonal lattice. It is the thinnest, most electrically and thermally conductive material in the world. It is so flexible. It is also flexible, transparent, and incredibly strong. Often referred to as a wonder material for its extraordinary electrical and electronics properties. Graphene could replace indium and thereby bring down the cost of OLED screens in smartphone studies. Graphene has a lot of promise for additional applications: anti-corrosion coatings and paints, efficient and precise sensors, faster and efficient electronics, flexible displays, efficient solar panels, faster DNA sequencing, drug delivery and more. NAT grid. Union Minister for Home and Cooperation Amit Shah inaugurated the National Intelligence Grid NAT grid campus in Bengaluru. CDAC Pune has been roped in as technology partner and IIT Bhilai as a plan management consultant for the development of NAT grid solution. Envisaged as a robust mechanism to track suspects, the NAT grid can help in preventing terrorist attacks with real-time data and access to classified information like immigration, banking, individual taxpayers, air and train travels. It will be a medium of 11 central agencies such as the Intelligence Bureau, IB and the Research and Analysis Wing, RA, R&AW to access data on a secured platform. The data will be procured by NAT grid from 21 providing organizations such as the telecom, tax, records, bank, immigration, etc. Weaponization of space. IAF chief cautioned about the newer threats in the race to weaponize the space domain, a domain which was hitherto considered relatively safe. It includes placing weapons in outer space or in heavenly bodies, as well as creating weapons that will transit outer space and or simply travel from Earth to attack or destroy targets in space. Examples include the placing of orbital or suborbital satellites with the intention of attacking enemy satellites, using ground-based direct ascent missiles to attack space assets, jamming signals sent from enemy satellites, satellite attacks on Earth targets. INS Shivaji. The Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship has recognized INS Shivaji as the Center of Excellence in the field of marine engineering. It is an Indian naval station in Lonavala, Maharashtra. It houses the Naval College of Engineering, which educates and trains Indian Navy and Coast Guard officials. It has three premier training entities, namely Center of Marine Engineering and Technology, Center of Excellence in Marine Engineering and School of Basic Sciences. The Nuclear Biological Chemical Defense School, which trains naval personnel on all aspects of NBCD, is also located in the station. The naval station was commissioned as HM1S His Majesty Indian Ship Shivaji in February 1915. INS Shivaji Center of Excellence Marine Engineering was established in 2014 with a broad mandate that included the induction of niche technologies for naval applications, quality research in collaboration with R&D, research and development and academic institutes of high reputation. Facial recognition technology. Right to information responses received by the Internet Freedom Foundation reveal that the Delhi police treats matches of above 80% similarity generated by its facial recognition technology system as positive results. Facial recognition as an algorithm based technology which creates a digital map of the face by identifying and mapping an individual facial features, which it then matches against the database to which it has access. It can be used for two purposes. Firstly, 1:1 verification of identity, wherein the facial map is obtained for the purposes of matching it against the person's photograph on a database to authenticate their identity. For example, 1:1 verification is being used to unlock phones. However, increasingly it is being used to provide access to any benefits or government schemes. Okay. ChatGPT. The latest AI tool, ChatGPT, is creating a buzz among computer scientists and programs due to its creative capabilities. The OpenAI company has developed a new chatbot called ChatGPT, which is a conversational AI that can answer queries like human and is fine-tuned to provide conversational responses. It can be used for a wide range of tasks such as replacing basic mails, party planning lists, CVs, for writing 4-page essays, solving math equations, and even spotting errors in code. ChatGPT is based on the generative pre-training GPT language model. Is a type of neural network that can create new content based on input content, also known as training data. ChatGPT is the latest version of GPT API DPT-3 and is additionally trained on conversational transcripts with human feedback. About OpenAI. OpenAI is a research institute and company that focuses developing artificial intelligence technology in a responsible and safe way. It was founded in 2015 by a group of entrepreneurs and researchers including Elon Musk and Sam Altman and Greg Brockman. Artificial Neural Network ANN. The Global Artificial Neural Network ANN market report was published. As per the current report, ANN market is to set phenomenal growth from 2021 to 2028. Artificial neural networks is also known as neural networks are a vital subset of machine learning are the heart of deep learning algorithms. Their name and structure are inspired by the human brain, mimicking the way that biological neurons signal to one another. They are not like other machine learning algorithms that process numbers or organize data. It is an algorithm that learns from experience and repeated tasks performed by users. Backpropagation is a commonly used method for training artificial neural networks, especially deep neural networks. Hydrogen fuel cell. It is a collaboration between the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research and the private firm KPIT Technologies Limited. A fuel is an electrochemical energy conversion device that uses hydrogen and air to generate electricity, heat and water. Benefits of fuel cell: low operational costs as a result of hydrogen's high energy density and efficiency, meet climate change targets by decarbonizing transportation. Because of its quiet operation and modular design, it can be used in small residential, automotive and portable electronic devices. Overcome smog and health issues caused by air pollution. Operating times are significantly longer than battery life. Roshni. It is India's first saline water lantern which uses seawater as electrolyte between specially designed electrolytes to power the LED lamps. Developed by National Institute of Ocean Technology, NIOT, Chennai. Technology can also be used in hinterlands as any saline or normal water mixed with common salt can be used to power the lantern. Significance: cost effective and feasible to operate. Bring ease of living to the poor and needy, particularly the fishing community. ArtPark and GigaMesh. About GigaMesh, a startup named Astronome with the help of ArtPark will soon connect 15 villages in different parts of the country through a next generation networking solution called GigaMesh. GigaMesh, developed by Astronome with the support of ArtPark. Purpose: it is the world's first multi-beam E-band radio that is able to communicate from one tower to multiple towers simultaneously while delivering multi Gbps throughput to each of these towers. Working: a single GigaMesh device can provide up to 40 links with 2 plus Gbps capacity, communicating top to range of 10 kilometers. The flexibility in range makes it suitable for both decongesting the dense urban networks and extending rural coverage. AI and Robotic Technology Park, ART Park. ART Park, AI and Robotic Technology Park is a not-for-profit foundation. It was established by the Indian Institute of Science, Bengaluru, with support from the Department of Science and Technology. Purpose to promote technology innovation missions of in AI, artificial intelligence, and robotics. These missions should have a societal impact in sectors such as healthcare, education, mobility, infrastructure, agriculture, retail, and cybercrime. Nodal mission: the park was established under the National Mission on Interdisciplinary Cyber Physical Systems. Navic: India is pushing tech giants to make their smartphones compatible with its Navic system. However, the manufacturers, including companies like Samsung, Xiaomi, and Apple, are worried about the elevated costs and disruptions as the move requires hardware changes. Navic, or Navigation with Indian Constellation, is an independent standalone navigation satellite system developed by the Indian Space Research Organisation (ISRO). Navic was originally approved in 2006. It was expected to be completed by late 2011, but only became operational in 2018. Navic consists of 8 satellites and covers the whole of India's landmass and up to 1500 kilometers from its boundaries. Currently, Navic use is limited. It is being used in public vehicle tracking in India for providing emergency warning alerts to fishermen venturing into the deep sea where there is no terrestrial network connectivity, and for tracking and providing information related to natural disasters. How does Navic work compared to other satellite navigation systems like GPS? The main difference is the serviceable area covered by these systems. GPS caters to users across the globe, and its satellites circle the earth twice a day, while Navic is currently for use in India and adjacent areas. Moreover, like GPS, there are 3 more navigation systems that have a global coverage: Galileo from the European Union, Russia owned GLONASS, and China's Beidou. QZSS, operated by Japan, is another regional navigation system covering the Asia to Oceania region with a focus on Japan. Sagittarius A SGRA. Scientists from the Event Horizon Telescope facility revealed that the first image of the black hole named Sagittarius A at the center of our galaxy, the Milky Way. Sagittarius is a supermassive black hole at the center of our galaxy, that is the Milky Way. It is located near the border of the constellations Sagittarius and Scorpius. SGRA, processing 4 million times of mass and our sun, is located about 26,000 light years and 5.9 trillion miles, 9.5 trillion kilometers from Earth. The diameter of Sagittarius A is about 17 times that of the sun, meaning it would sit with the innermost planetary Mercury solar orbit. In 2019, the Event Horizon Telescope released the first ever image of a black hole M87, the black hole at the center of another galaxy, Messier 87, which is a supergiant elliptical galaxy. Black hole. A black hole is a place in space where gravitational force is so high that even light cannot get out. The gravity is so strong because the matter has been squeezed into a tiny space. This can happen when a star is dying. Because no light can get out, one cannot see black holes. They are invisible. High configuration space telescopes can help find black holes. Black holes in the modern sense were first predicted as a consequence of Albert Einstein's general theory of relativity in 1915. Types of black hole. Black holes are mainly two types: stellar mass black hole, supermassive black hole. Inside of black hole, at the core of a black hole, all the black hole's mass is concentrated into a tiny point of infinite density. This point is known as the singularity. About PSLV. PSLV can launch satellite weighing in the range of 1000 kg, but it takes 70 days to integrate this launch vehicle. It is a third generation launch vehicle of India. It is the first Indian vehicle launch to be equipped with liquid stages. Small satellite launch vehicle. ISRO chairman has said that the small satellite launch vehicle and named SLV-D1 microsat will be launched in April 2022. SSLV is an all-solid 3-stage vehicle with the capability to launch up to 500 kg satellite mass into 500 km low Earth orbit. The SSLV is intended to cater into a market for the launch of small satellites into low Earth orbits. The SSLV is the smallest vehicle at 110 ton mass at ISRO. It will take only 72 hours to integrate. Only 6 people will be required to do the job. It is best suited for launching multiple microsatellites at a time and supports multiple orbital drop-offs. NISAR, NASA, ISRO, SAR. The NISAR mission is scheduled for launch in 2023. The name NISAR, NISAR, is short for NASA to ISRO to SAR. NISAR is a joint Earth observation mission between NASA and the Indian Space Research Organization ISRO. The satellite will be able to detect the Earth's surface movement as small as 0.04 inches over an area. SAR here refers to synthetic aperture radar that NASA will use to measure changes in the surface on the Earth. It refers to a technique for producing high resolution images. Because of the precision, the radar can penetrate clouds and darkness, which means that it can collect data day and night in any weather. It will scan the globe every 12 days over the course of its 3-year mission of imaging the Earth's land, ice sheets and sea ice to give unprecedented view of the planet. Role of NASA. The National Aeronautics and Space Administration will provide one of the radars for the satellite, a high-rate communication subsystem for scientific data, GPS receivers and payload subsystem. Role of ISRO. Provide the spacecraft bus, the second type of radar called S-band radar, the launch vehicle and associated with launch services. Atmospheric pressure of Pluto. A team of scientists determined that Pluto's atmospheric pressure is 80,000 times lower than the atmospheric pressure at mean sea level on Earth. It was calculated using data obtained from Pluto's observation of stellar accumulation. Accumulation occurs when a celestial object is obscured from the observer's view due to another celestial object passing between them. More about Pluto. Pluto is the largest known dwarf planet in the solar system, located in the Kuiper belt, a zone beyond the orbit of Neptune. NASA's New Horizons space probe made a close-up flyby of Pluto. New Horizons showed that Pluto has a diameter of 1,473 miles, 2,370 kilometers, less than 1/5 of the diameter of Earth, and only about 2/3 as wide as Earth's moon.